How are you all? Hope you are well, you beautiful, sexy people. Welcome back to Turf Moor House TV, and thank you for tuning in. This is the match preview for Burnley versus Leicester City. A rearranged fixture. Originally was meant to be played, I think, before the new year, if I'm not mistaken. However, we're here at this point. Don't think Leicester will be up for it as much as we are now because we are in a good vein of form. Decent point away at Palace. I mean, have a look at our recent video. We did a 60-second review on that game, and I'm sure we'll touch on it later. But if you are new around here, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and also TikTok now as well. All you have to do is search Turf Moor House, and yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. You can also check us out on all major podcasting platforms as well, such as Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. See, I've got to press all these buttons. Too many buttons to press. Usually it's always the wrong ones. But yeah, please do check us out on all podcasting platforms. And as you know, we are also supporting Casual Minds Matter, who are checking in on male mental health. And they are one of our sponsors. Absolute quality at what they do. Check them out over on their Facebook group. They are on Twitter and Instagram as well. And if you ever feel low, just drop them guys a message and they will definitely respond to you and listen to anything you have to say. Also, on Monday nights, even tonight, to be honest, it'll have just finished now, but 7 till 9 on Mondays, they do evenings down at St. Catherine's Church, I think it is on Mary Street. And they pretty much get everybody together, have a chat, put some food on, and hopefully people leave there feeling a lot better than they did before they went in. So please do go check them out as well. It is Burnley Leicester. I have been on his channel already. I'll be on his channel numerous times this week because, well, I mean, my probation officer tells me I have to be. However, we will get him in. Here he is, the man with the face for radio. It's Christopher Forian.
Good evening, Daniel. You were saying there you were pressing all your buttons, but I believe Kate told me once that you couldn't find buttons.
I couldn't. No. That's it. In Burnley, we're a bit simple. It's just we can't tie laces. It's just Velcro shoes around here or Crocs.
It wasn't the button I was thinking of, but never mind. We'll move on.
I tried to keep it platonic.
Hey, you were on my show early. You were swearing, and I got a thing off YouTube that this is not suitable for all advertisers. You said just you foul-mouthed northerner. What can I say, you fucking bastard? Get my own back on you.
To be fair, I do need to tone it down. Kate has told me quite a lot. I do need to tone it down. So I do. Very much
these days, I mean, it's a football channel, so you know it's not going to be like know.
Sometimes it just naturally goes, doesn't it?
It could be Beauty and the Beast, and I don't know what you feel about being the Beast, but it is a football channel. But so much of it is just normal chat these days. To be
fair, Chris, usually when people call me the Beast, they do add in the sheets at the end of it. So you know,
they do what?
When you say Beast, usually it's ended with in the sheets. So I'm usually a beast in the sheets.
Well, we'll have to ask Kate that, won't we? I couldn't possibly comment.
Oh well.
Bloody arse is sore, though. I've got to be honest with you. When you said you're coming up my rear passage, I thought you were coming to visit me.
First and foremost, Chris, hope you're well. And yes. Give a nice, wonderful plug to your channel.
Well, I'm Chris Leicester Till I Die. This is Turf Moor House TV. Good evening and welcome. And I just want to say that if anybody's worried about the link going down, that I am prepared. I'm wearing this obviously for Ukraine, but just in case I have to take the show over again, I have got that colour shirt ready to go. So because some of us are professional. No, good evening. Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die 1 on Insta, and at Leicester TID on the old Twitter, and just Leicester Till I Die on Facebook.
Smashing. Couple of comments. The blue podcast is in with a couple of blue hearts. Mrs. Hey, beautiful people. Hi, Chris and Chris.
You talk. Oh, you see the beautiful people.
You're on a
I'm
man.
sorry, mate.
You're on a man.
I am the beautiful side. You are the. Hello, Mrs. Riley. Yeah.
You thought I won't realise? You've only just realised. Typical.
Yeah, she did it on purpose, Kate. Don't try and deny it. You've been fighting it for years. Just give in. Just give in to it.
Now says, hello, Dan, the funny wee man. And all right, Chris.
All right, Neil. Niall.
I'm good, thanks, Dan. Said you sexy people at the start there. Yeah, of course. Talking the Turf TV evening. Hope you are well, Reese. Thank you for tuning in. Fancy a win tomorrow. Massive incentive to win. Crazy how quickly things can change in football. Massively. I totally agree, mate. Totally agree. And we are going to have to get you on the channel as well at some point. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. You're doing really well with your channel as well. So do keep it up. So people do go check out Talking the Turf TV as well. Another Burnley fan, but he's an absolute quality person to speak to. He is, Chris.
Clues are there, I suppose, aren't they?
Now says, hope you're well, Katie. Love his banter when he said, you sexy people. Dan, can you tie your laces or do you wear Velcro shoes or gym? Oh, I don't. It's that old school round Burnley. We're like the Flintstones. We just go out in bare feet round here.
They don't trust you with laces, do they?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Even strawberry laces are classed as a dangerous weapon around here.
Hey.
Kate says, going to swill his mouth out with washing up liquid, Chris. Well, that'll be the first time she's washed up properly if she does. People call you beast in the sheets to their scruff bag. There, see, I'm getting my own back because I saw that comment ahead. However, she's already one step ahead again. Daniel doesn't do the dishes or any sort of cleaning now. Feel free to trade places if you clean. I beg your pardon. However, I don't mind. It gives me somebody to chat to from the sofa, doesn't it? And she says she's joking. Do you have a mop and a mop bucket, Daniel? I did. I used to, but I shaved it off.
Hey.
There we have it. There we have it. I love that little button. I need to get myself one of them, Chris.
You and buttons. You've got a one-track mind. It's like you know the red button on the telly that you press. I call it the clitoris because I can never find it.
Hey, I knew that would come in. Kate says I should use the washing up liquid in your mouth more often, and then it will clean you. You cheeky sod.
Oh.
Anyhow, there's nobody called Peggy in this house. Not when you're in, anyway. Right. Chris.
Fight. I like Kate, but I like Daniel. And I really can't decide. There's only one way to sort this out. Fight! Ariel, I miss him.
yeah, quality. We are here. First and foremost, if you can see, I'm not sure whether you can. Chris did mention it off camera. You can't really tell with the background, the blue and the yellow. I have tried to sort of implement
blue and brown. It's not yellow. That's yellow.
Yeah, I've tried to like filter it, so you've still got the background, but it filter in. However,
you follow us on social media as a kind of yellow.
Yeah, true. I'll have to tweak that for the next one anyway. But yeah, we do obviously stand with Ukraine. We aren't going to speak politics too much, but our thoughts are with everybody in Ukraine as well.
Nice one, mate. Well said.
All those families, innocent families being killed left, right, and centre. It's not fair. So our utmost respect goes out to Ukraine, and fingers crossed it ends soon before it gets out of hand. Back to the football, Chris. Burnley Leicester Tuesday night. Do
we have to talk about it?
We can do, yeah. 7:45 kickoff.
Yeah.
Back at Turf. Back playing football for Leicester. Obviously, the game against Chelsea this weekend postponed due to their Carabao Cup final defeat against Liverpool.
Come on, Kepa.
To be fair, he got his just rewards. In my opinion.
Yep.
Reap what you sow.
How do you feel now?
It is. It were. They say karma's a dish best served cold, don't they? And he got it in both barrels. So,
yes. I think that's revenge, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. Try to stick the two together. Sod it. So Burnley Leicester, you're back playing football away from home.
Yeah.
You looking forward to this fixture? I mean, when you look at the league table at the moment, it's getting quite close, isn't it? Now I think both teams are sort of at that moment where you could call it squeaky bum time.
Yes, and to be honest with you, I never look forward to the Burnley games, and I don't mean that disparagingly. It's because it's never beautiful football. It's always a tough game. We've never beaten you at the Turf in the Premier League, so because of that, I don't look forward to it. But that's very much a compliment to you. That's you've made us feel that way, and all the games. I mean, we were together when my kids were knee-high to Kate. Then there were sort of mascots. This was in the good old days when you only had one mascot per team at Burnley, and we were in the Championship together for years. And there were 9 times out of 10 it was a draw. There were never. You're just one of those teams, so you are hitting form. We said before that if you could turn some of your draws into wins, you'd probably be safe. I thought, in fairness, you'd left it too late this season, but he'll get. Well, he got the hat trick for you last time, didn't he? I mean, a dodgy VAR and an own goal. It's where you got your point. No, joking aside, you have hit some form. Love the fact that you beat Spurs. Everybody that watches this knows my affiliation with Burnley. Love to see you stay up, and I honestly think you will do now.
No, fingers crossed, Chris. Fingers crossed we do. I mean, do you think this is going to be beneficial to Leicester? The well-earned break, or do you think? Do you think it was a time to recharge the batteries, or was it a case of you'd rather have just took the games on and let momentum flow?
I would have liked to have played you last time when it was supposed to be played.
I can understand that.
But I don't think it really makes any difference because sort of if you've played a game like you have, you come into that game, you didn't lose it. So that's an extra point towards your survival. So you're coming into the game very much sort of, on a high, if you like, because you've not lost those last 3 games. And we're coming in supposedly having a rest, and therefore you could say out of match practice a little bit, And when we look at our last game, I know, we discussed this on my channel earlier. Yes, we won 3-1, but this was against Randers. The performance wasn't brilliant by any stretch of the imagination, and that's been our trouble this season. The only good thing about this being rearranged now is that we are getting some players back. We didn't have, I think we did have Vardy when we were due to play you last time. We've got Piera back. We should have had James Justin back, but he got injured again. So hopefully we're getting 1 or 2 players back. But it's not an easy place to go to. And I think if there's any team that you don't want to play when you're just coming back from an injury, it's probably Burnley, because you don't take prisoners. I'm not saying you're a dirty side, don't get me wrong, I'm not. But you're a physical side,
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to risk somebody having just come back from an injury to start against Burnley. And I mean that, like I say, that's really a compliment to you.
No, that's a fair point. On your injuries, as you mentioned, you've got Fofana back on the grass, which would be a good start to see, obviously, for you, from a fan perspective.
I don't know whether he'll be back in time to really affect the season, though, because I think it's going to be the end of March before we actually see him in game time, if you like.
Yeah.
And then he's got to get back in and get, ease him back into the team. And let's face it, the season finishes middle of May, so Yeah,
that's a
but
good point.
it is still good to see him back. But it just shows what happens when you entertain dirty Spanish bastards before in a pre-season friendly. Not bitter at all.
No, definitely not.
No.
Having a player of Jamie Vardy's caliber back for a fixture like this, do you think that, is it perfect timing? Is this the perfect game for Jamie Vardy to come back? Or do
That's a
you
big
still
word,
think he'll
caliber. I
be
didn't know you
benched?
knew words like that. Do you know, and I said on my show earlier, he's not been in great form this season. Last season, he was beaten by Nacho as the top scorer at the club. So I can't say we probably missed him because, like I say, he hasn't. But it's not necessarily been his fault. We've performed so badly as a unit, and that if you're not getting the ball to the strikers aren't going to score. And if those strikers have to come back to get the ball, they're not being where they should be, in the box. But psychologically, yes, I mean, you look at that team sheet now, and he probably won't start. He'll probably start possibly with Daka on tomorrow. But when your guys sit there and think, shit, Vardy's on the bench, and if you've hung on for 70 minutes, it's 0-0. And then you think, oh, good, Daka's going off. Oh shit, Vardy's coming on.
Yeah.
So psychologically, just having him there is great. Just having anybody on the subs bench for Leicester's great this season. I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much starting to look bleak. With every game, there's an injury, it seems, at Leicester at the moment.
Oh, it is unbelievable. I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories going about. I mean, we had Dave Rennie, who has been at the club for years and years, and I understand. Rodgers wanted his own people in. They got rid of him, and we've had the worst season for injuries ever. I mean, we went through the Premier League season virtually injury free. That said, we were out of the cups quite early. We didn't have Europe, so this season, we've been playing so many games, and yeah, it's just. And I think the thing is that Rodgers hasn't come out and blamed injuries, and I said earlier, again, that if this had been Klopp, he'd have been crying down the microphone at every opportunity he's got. Oh, got another injury. We've had injuries, like I said, to 9 defenders this season, but you've not once heard Rodgers come out and blame that for the losses or anything. But you have to. I mean, that's without the midfield. 9 defenders have had injuries overlapping all at some time. It's like, it's the defenders, they're introduced to each other in the centre circle before kickoff. Oh, you're not seeing Johnny for this is Johnny, by the way, Jan. Yeah, this is Jan, Johnny. It's silly. It is totally silly. It really is. But that's football.
It is. I mean, we'll speak about Brendan Rodgers. Obviously, as you said, with the injuries, he's been dealt a bit of a shit hand in that sort of sense. However, you've been speaking about it recently. You did a recent video on your channel. You had a fan on that was very much Brendan Rodgers out, where you and your co-host Brad were more of a Rodgers in. I mean, I sort of echo your sentiment that Rodgers should stay in and you should back him based on a fully fit squad, as you say. I mean, it's come up to his 3rd year now, hasn't it? I think it were announced the other day that 3 years at the club.
Been there 3 years last week. Yeah.
Just tell me a bit about Brendan Rodgers as a manager. Like, how's he been since he stepped through the door?
I always say some managers are a perfect fit for the club. Nuno was a perfect fit for Wolves. Dyche is a perfect fit for Burnley, I honestly think, and I think Rodgers is the perfect fit for Leicester. I don't think Rodgers would ever make, he's been to Liverpool. Whether he'll ever get a chance at a big club like that again, I don't know. I don't think he will. And I think Leicester is a good level for him. Plus, coming down from Celtic, and we've seen this with, what's he called at Villa, Gerrard. But, the success you have in Scotland means sweet FA when you come into the Premier League because it's like, like League One football up there. But And if you win trophies at Rangers and Celtic, so what? But he came down. He had to rehabilitate himself. The thing is, he's got a plan. He's been given a plan. He's bringing the youth through. Puel started it. I'm not going to lie. As much as we grumbled about him, he did start to bring a few of the players through. But some of the choices, like Harvey Barnes, he recalled him from West Brom, and it was like desperation to keep us up. It wasn't a superb masterstroke. But Rodgers has come in, and he's now got owners that trust him, owners that like him. When you see the scenes after the FA Cup with the owner and him, he's a good manager for Leicester. If he goes, you've got to ask yourself a lot of questions. When and who? When would he go? Well, if he goes now, what's the point? Leeds have just sacked Bielsa. Who are they going to get in? This guy that's come in, he's got no Premier League experience. How's he going to necessarily make any difference to Leeds? Not at all.
Well, no. To be fair, Chris, I was going to bring it up because after you face us, you do play Leeds, and obviously Leeds will have that new manager bounce. Obviously, while we were on air on Chris's channel, Leeds United did announce that they'd appointed, is it Jesse March or something like
that? Yeah.
I
preferred his brother Fred April, to be honest with you, but
I always preferred Brian May.
It's not. Hey. But the thing is, how much experience has he had? I can kind of understand Watford, although I think it was the wrong decision going for Ranieri. I can kind of see them why they've gone for Hodgson. They've had the experience in the Premier League. This guy, I don't know if how much he's been a manager, or his experience. I've just seen somebody there say he was at
Leipzig.
Reece is saying that he was rather not very good, I think is what Reece is trying to say. So I don't think that new bounce thing will work at Leeds, to be honest with you. But they've got rid of him now. So this guy's coming in and he's got the same. And this was the thing if we got rid of Brendan now. You come in, no transfer windows, so you've got to stick with the players that you've got.
Yeah.
And you may introduce your own thoughts and ideas and formations. So with 10 games to go, you're suddenly putting all new ideas, all new formations on players, and they're going to be, well, we're not used to this. So it takes a couple of things to get along. Go in the summer. People are saying, well, it's his third season syndrome with Burnley, with Brendan. Well, nobody's given him a fourth season. They didn't. Yeah. Liverpool didn't sack Klopp after he won everything a couple of seasons ago. Then the next season didn't win anything. He's on for the quadruple again now. Ferguson, all the time he was at United, he went the odd season with not winning something, but they didn't get rid of him, quite rightly, because they knew he could do it. And maybe occasionally, what other manager would have got rid of the likes of Beckham and the other big names there? But he knew that it needed refreshing. And not that the players were bad, but it just needs refreshing. And I think you have to look at when we got rid of Ranieri after he won us the Premier League, we were in a relegation fight. We're not in that yet. You've got to look at why your club is doing bad. Is it because the manager's run out of ideas? Is it because the manager, say, for example, like Mourinho, he had his time, football's moved on, he hasn't, sort of thing,
Yeah.
But with Rodgers, you've got to say, look at the injuries we've had. When he's got a fully fit squad, I think it was whoever it was on the BBC for our last game, and Clinton Morrison, and he said, judge Brendan when he's got a fully fit squad. And when he's got a fully fit squad, what can he do? Well, he can win the FA Cup. He can win the English Super Cup. Or sorry, the Community Shield of the people. We call it English Super Cup. So we know what he can do. And why? If we're having the same conversation next December, he goes. Because you've got to get them in for the January transfer window. So he goes. But at the moment, give him the chance. He has got the setup and the backup at Leicester. He probably wouldn't get that chance if he was anywhere else. Because, like I say, if he was managing Leeds now, he'd be out the door.
Oh yeah.
So,
or even
and
worse,
I think for Leicester, who could we replace him with? For Leicester, he is a good manager. He likes working with the youth. He started off working with the youth, and please, nobody say Graham Potter. He's in a year or so. If he's got Brighton into Europe, I'll concede that he's a good manager now. He'll then be a better manager. Hoosen Hall probably I'd take, but there's nobody else. I think you've got to take somebody. If you don't go for a huge name, then you've got to go for somebody who's got the experience. And would a huge name come to Leicester? Probably not.
Fair assessment.
Oh, you did ask. Chris Forrian, news at 10. Good night.
A couple of comments. Andrew says, hi, hope you're well, Andrew. Mark's in as well. Evening, Mark. Thank you for tuning in. Mark says, Jesse March does have high quality of coaching. But as you said, Reece says he's not a good manager. Andrew says that he was absolute pony at Leipzig. He's sharp, which is perfect for Leeds. Well said, Reece. Well said.
I mean, at the end of the day, Ralph came in and was supposed to be, the second coming.
No, everyone's saying that, he did shart at Leipzig. Can kind of see some in there, but definitely not good enough to keep that shart up. Good appointment for Leeds, though.
I'll say hello to Miss Molina because she's on her way in.
Yeah. Ducky says 3-1 Burnley tomorrow. We win, and I think we put the most pressure on Brentford, as we will have still played 2 games less than them and be level on points. Great to see the hunger back in the team. It totally is, mate. Really is. As everybody's in the chat talking about FIFA and whatnot. Ajala, what's the news with Vardy? He's set to be back.
Yeah, he'll probably be on the bench. He probably won't start simply because he's not going to play 90 minutes. So, and with Vardy, I think this is going to be his role moving forward. Is that we're going to have Daka and Inacho as the main 2 strikers, and if we're struggling after 70 minutes and need a goal, as I say, you got those defenders at Anaka thinking, oh shit, here comes Vardy now, so he will, I think, become that super sub role.
I do echo what Ducky's saying here. I do hope that we get that Leicester from their previous 5 games. However, we've
not
seen
the previous 2, I don't think, but before that, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take. We've got to win whatever's in front of us, Ducky, whether they're in form or not. Reece says, on his question, Chris, if he fails to turn things around between now and the end of the season, does he stay still, or do you think it would be better to cut ties at the end?
I think I said, didn't I? No, he stays. There's just too much swapping of managers, and if he takes us down, it's a different story. If he keeps us up, we've got to look at why we had a bad season and give him some time. Like I say, man, you didn't get rid of Fergie as soon as he had 1 bad year, quite rightly as well. I do. You stuck with him. I say totally right. And we've got to remember, we're Leicester. We're not in. We're not a Man United. We're not a Liverpool or a Chelsea. We can score penalties, unlike certain goalkeepers. For us to get top 6, you've got to need, as they have for the last couple of seasons, some of those so-called top 6 teams to drop out. And it's been Arsenal and Spurs for the last. It's your name, Arsenal and Spurs for the last, couple of seasons. It just, like I say, it's a journey, and sometimes you've got to stop and change the wheel. Exactly, Andrew. Totally, exactly. But it's we live in a sackable industry. Well, we don't, you know, we follow sackable football teams, and it's the easiest thing to do is to say, "Oh, right, sack the manager."
Yeah.
West Brom did it, you know, as soon as they came up with I've forgotten the guy's name.
Yeah, they drew one apiece with Man City, and after the game, Slaven Bilic were gone.
That's it.
And Sam
Slaven
Allardyce
Bilic.
went in.
Yeah, and what happened there? And Watford, you know, my thoughts on Watford. You know, 12th in the table, sack the manager, get Ranieri in, bye bye. You know, it's
true. It's true. Yeah. Doug says looking forward to Wednesday. So am I, mate. 7 o'clock, I will be appearing on the Dugout Football channel. And obviously later that evening on the Wednesday as well, I will be doing my opposition review from tomorrow's game on Chris's channel at 9 o'clock as well that evening. So
you're just moving in with me, aren't you? Be honest.
I am. I might as well. You might as well just clear that spare room out, mate, and just you know.
Yeah, give me half time to recover, though, mate. Come on.
I'll try. As Doug says, it was Slaven Bilic.
Yeah.
Matt says no way. Bruce is better than Reece in terms of obviously Ralph. Andrew says all the mockery of Bielsa. Lovely to see a Leeds fan passionately defend his time at the club on Doug's channel earlier. People only remember the end, not the good times. No,
I honestly think if he'd stayed, if they'd kept hold of him and they'd gone down and they showed, and I know he only ever, I mean, the thing was, if they waited till the end of the season, they wouldn't have had to pay any compensation because he only signs a 1-year contract anyway. But I honestly think if they now go down, will this new manager be the one that brings them back up? I think if they stuck with Bielsa and got him to stay, like when you went down with Dyche, keep him, comes back up, you know. But there we go.
As Mark says, Nigel Pearson, when he was sacked with 3 games to go, just because he called the owners out at Watford, then surprise, they got relegated. Reece says it's not a bad season for Leicester. They're operating at the right level and just a victory of their previous successors now. Without an injury crisis, they'll be between 9th and 6th next year again.
We are a victim of our own success. We are football fans. And I fall into this just the same as everybody else, you know. God, we finished 5th the last 2 seasons and we won the why aren't we doing it this season? And sometimes you got to go, hang on, I'm not an Arsenal fan. You know, let's be realistic here. And if we finish 10th or 11th and get to the Europa Conference final, I'd take that as a reasonable season.
No, definitely. Do you think another element of Rodgers' sort of downfall this season, as people like to call it, not just based on the injuries, but the fact that, as you said in your piece there, that he's sort of put his trust in quite a few youth players this season, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think that basically he's...
I'm not sure what the question is for that.
No,
sorry,
I mean, do you think that that could be another element that is sort of trying to bleed the next batch of stars through? However, maybe some of them aren't ready yet. I mean, the likes of Luke Thomas is ready. KDH, Kieran Dewsbury for people. You know, it's just that I'm on Leicester channel that much. I'm now on first name terms and nicknames.
No, because the youngsters he's brought through have not done us bad. Luke Thomas is young, but he's scored in a Europa League game. You know, he scored in Europe. Yeah. He was confident enough, I think it was against Man United, to shout to Vardy to leave the ball, and he scored coming up from behind. And KDH, believe it or not, is 24. So he's not really a youngster, but he's taking it gently. Had a last season, a whole season at Luton. I suppose in a way, but he's had to. He's had to get these youngsters in because we've had so many injuries. And I'll tell you something as well. When we played Watford in the FA Cup 3rd round, and we beat them 4-1. It was another Premier League team, and we had 6 under-23 players on the pitch at the end of the game. and we beat a Premier League team for them. We had our full squad, all sort of, first team regulars against Forest, who were a Championship side, and we lost 4-1. So for me, I don't worry about putting the kids in. Sometimes they show a lot more balls than some of the first teamers.
No, true. Mark says he was Luton's best player and player of the year for their fans and manager, wasn't he? Andrew says in spells decent, other times garbage. Brushes in, hit that like. Please do, guys, if you are new to the channel, please do hit a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help the channel grow, so please do. Thank you. And everyone who has already, thank you very much. This game, obviously, we'll talk about the game back at your place. 2 apiece last season, as you've already stated. The Jamie Vardy hat-trick.
This season, last year.
Sorry, it's because of the years. COVID.
It was a good job I come on, really. I say usually you'll go off in a minute, and I'll just host the whole show. I'm used to it.
COVID played buggeroo in my head. To be honest, Chris, like the 2-2, fair result at that point. I mean, because we weren't even in form back then as well. You should have really beaten us in that game.
Looking back, over my shoulder. Looking back, we should have beaten you, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but it was one of those on paper we should have beaten you, but it kind of, I think we were taking teams like, oh, this is a Burnley, we're going to beat them. This is Norwich, we're going to stuff them, and suddenly we weren't. And I'm not saying, we probably took you lightly. I mean, it did help the fact that, we did get your first goal for you to sort of show you how it's done. And then we got the draw at the end, but we did take you too lightly. And as I say, I am worried for tomorrow night. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, it should be an interesting one. Is there any player in the Burnley side that you sort of fear the most coming into this game? I know on your channel, Craig said that Weghorst is dangerous. The fact that he comes back and drops into the midfield. He mentioned how him and Ndidi will be interesting, battling against each other. Is there anybody else in the Burnley side that you fear coming up against?
I mean, Weghorst obviously is the player in form at the moment. I mean, what a player you've got there. I mean, you sold Chris Wood, and no disrespect, he was at Leicester before he was at you. Scored a great goal at Burnley. Thought I'd just pop that in, in the Championship winning team. But I mean, you sold him for 25 and got this guy. Was it for 12? Did you say?
Yeah.
What a deal, mate! What a good deal you've got there, and all credit to you. And he's got off the mark now, and he'll want to do that at Burnley in front of the home fans. So, and if we've got Vestergaard in defence, I mean, you said Weghorst is quite a tall guy. I mean, Vestergaard's 6'6" and 6'2" when he jumps, but it's Cornet, if he gets off his bum and manages to actually stay on his feet on the pitch, he's obviously just, and I know he might not be sort of starting, but he is the sort of player that can turn games.
No, that's a fair point. Andrew says, hold my hands up. Nothing has surprised me as much this season as Burnley's turnaround.
I thought you'd gone. I've got to be honest with you. I thought you had gone, but I honestly think if you, apart from tomorrow night, if you can carry this form on, I can see you staying up.
Well, it's like you've seen me. You're over on this channel often enough, and I'm over on yours, and you've seen, how much I've literally said, that we are one of the 3 worst teams this season. However, this second half of the season, it seems like other teams are going, hold my beer, and sort of, sticking their own name in the hat for it.
It's it's, but you can't keep doing that season in, season out.
No, eventually teams are, we're sort of, we've got to do our bit. Of course we have. We've got to, take on our games as you do. However, we are also still having to look over our shoulder about what everybody else around us is doing. So,
yeah, but I mean, in fairness, last season you just stayed up. Yeah. But before that, you weren't a perennial fighting relegation team that I remember, and it wasn't so long ago you were in Europe. You did struggle that season you were in Europe.
Yeah.
Because you got those extra games, and again, no disrespect, I don't think you got a big enough squad to
definitely don't
handle that. And because you tended to suffer more than other clubs, including Leicester, have been in Europe and with the Premier League. But I think that was just purely down to your squad. So yeah, there's you've got the grace and you've got the team spirit to stay up, and you deserve your place in the Premier League. But you have to say it's a couple. If you stay up this season, that's 2 seasons that you have just stayed up, if you like. You've got to go on and do something next year. You've got to go and spend the money,
Definitely. Ducky says, I know it won't happen, but could you imagine Everton in the Championship? Hey, you never know, Ducky. I'd like to see it with me stepdad being the blue.
See that. I'd love to see the big clubs. I'd love to see Everton go down and a Swansea or, sorry, mate, but Blackburn's one of those clubs that haven't been up for a while, or smaller clubs like Sheffield United a couple of seasons ago. I'd love to see them come up,
I had to laugh at Reese's comment. World War III approaches. Putin considers the nuclear approach. Burnley activate the cockroach survival mode and become Prime Bayern Munich to dismantle teams. You couldn't have put it any better, Reese. You really couldn't.
But why weren't you doing this all season?
This is the question we've been asking. We've been asking, Chris. Like, why now? Why all of a sudden? What is it that eventually just clicks in the second half of a season, and you go,
tell me what you are doing now. Because you've been getting the draws. It's not that you've been down there because you've been being hammered by teams. That's Norwich's job. And they're fulfilling it. They're fulfilling it very well. You are only losing by the odd goal, and you are getting a lot of draws. We've said before, sometimes you're going to have to start putting those into wins, which you appeared to have started to do. But suddenly, it is a different Burnley we're seeing.
It is. It's strange because the football hasn't changed in terms of. I say it hasn't changed. I mean, from a fan perspective, what I'm saying is that as Paul says.
Yeah, just seen Paul's statement there. Yeah,
we're not lumping it up to wood, and that is what's happened. You can't put it any better than that. We've stopped going so one-dimensional, and we've sort of expanded our, adjusted to the way that the league's adjusting, trying to play with the ball to feet, trying to get players involved, trying to make them move instead of just watching them watch a ball go over their head for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
However, we've done that since, the first whistle this season, and it was just about tweaking the tactic, trying to get it right. We've not been far off, as you can see with the draws.
Yeah.
The performance levels are there. It's just about getting that final little tweak right, and it's clear to see that final tweak was Wood leaving and sort of a striker with a bit of creativity and flair with his feet, ability with his feet to get more involved and get other players involved in the game, and it's helped massively helped change Burnley's fortunes in these past couple of weeks.
When we got Wood, I think it was from Millwall. And I can remember he'd got 6 in a game or something just before we signed him. So I remember doing a thing of his head on a cowboy, and I'm saying like the 6 shooters in town and what have you. He never really got a chance because Vardy and Nugent were playing so well together.
Well, there's that picture in there. I think there's a picture where Chris Wood's starting for Leicester, and you've got Harry Kane and Jamie Vardy sat on the bench.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Kane? Oh, I don't know. He actually,
he won more at Leicester, didn't he? He won more at Leicester and Norwich than he has done with Spurs.
He should, stay with us, mate. You'd have been a FA Cup winner now. I don't know why we had him, because I don't think he actually got on the pitch that much, and he's just done a thing about his time at Leicester. So I don't know. I've not read it, so I don't know if he can do joined up writing, but it's I jest, of course, but I don't see Burnley. I used to hate the clubs like Wigan. For me, Wigan was one of those where they just stayed up literally season in, season, and it happened for about 4 or 5. And I just said, "Oh, just go down and give somebody else a chance." And I see that with Watford, and I see that with Norwich. They come up, they struggle, they're down. They come up, fuck off, get back to the Championship and let somebody else come up that's going to give it a decent fight. Like at least Brentford are giving it a fight. I don't see Burnley like that. You're a strong mid-table. You're never going to win the league.
No.
In fairness, we're never going to do it again. But you're going to see, Europe now goes down to 7th.
Yeah.
There's no reason that if you actually spend some money, and I think that's the thing you need to do, is spend some money, there's no reason why you can't be challenging for that 7th spot.
No, I think interestingly, if we do stay up this season, I think we are going to have quite a big overhaul in the summer, because we have got quite a bulk of players out of contract, and the chairman and Sean Dyche have come out and said, "Listen, we're not talking contracts yet. We've got a job to do," sort of thing. Mm-hmm. However, the board also want to see what this squad is capable of, what certain individuals are capable of, because as I have said tirelessly, weekly, day in, day out, that we are an aging squad. And you've got to still see if those players are still up for that challenge. We've got the likes of Phil Bardsley, who's 37, 38. Is he going to still be up to it next year, to the physicality of it? Who knows?
You've got to kind of, though, not just, well, God, we need to buy somebody now. You've got to have a bit of planning in.
Yeah, of course. There's got to be a contingency plan in place.
Whether Burnley's good at that. But when we sold Maguire, sorry, Reece, when we sold Maguire to Man United for 80 million, first thing we did was go out and have a party and make sure the check was cashed before they stopped it. Secondly, we'd had Soyuncu in the... Oh, Doug, you've started. I just... Sorry, it's put me off, that one. What was I saying? I can't remember what I was saying. Alzheimer's is kicking in.
You were talking about transfers and having a contingency plan.
When Maguire went to Man United, we'd had Soyuncu in already for a season, just getting into the team, so that when he came in, we didn't miss Maguire at all. No. And it's the same with Vardy now. We've got Daka in, and it'll be a season and a bit, and you'll see them slowly start to sort of change places.
No, that's fair shout. Reece says, time to refresh. Some of that old guard needs shoveled deeper than 6 feet and replaced with fresh talent. Can't agree more, especially if you're talking Man United anyway.
Hey, boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Can I just say, I don't know if anybody saw it last night, but I saw there was a great documentary, actually. It was about how ships are kept together. It was riveting.
Oh. You've used that one too many times, Chris.
I haven't used that one before, I don't think, have I?
Yep.
Well, I'm recognising.
You were right what you said.
You can blame.
You were right what you said. The Alzheimer's is kicking in.
Yes. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you my deja vu joke, but I've already told it you.
You're funny. You're funny, you. Full of them. I mean...
Full of something. It is.
Well, fingers crossed you'll be full of the next thing. We are going to do our predictions. And when I say full of something, I'm hoping it's full of shit when you say Leicester are going to win, because although if you do say Leicester are going to win, it's sort of a good omen, because every time you've backed Burnley, they've played shit. So, so fingers crossed you're going to back Leicester. However, Chris, there's a lot of people saying Rodgers in, Rodgers out. Breaking news through on Sky Sports, Rodgers has been sacked. Chris Forrin has been named the interim manager going into this game on Tuesday.
And I turned Man United down. That's why they went for Ralph.
Who's for you if you were the gaffer right now, who'd be in your starting 11 going into this game tomorrow?
This is the problem. I mean, with I used to do the preview show at 7 normally on a Friday when we haven't got an extra game like midweek, and Craig used to pick the team that he thought Brendan would go for, and I just we could never get it right because there were so many injuries. You just didn't know who was going to play. I'd love him. I'd love it. I really would love it. If Mike, that's even worse than Doug. You're making Doug look like a good comedian there. I want to see 2 up front. And I want to see.
There you go, Chris.
Sooner Kate, but it's like, yours are smaller than mine, so let's not, I'm going to have to write this down because last time I actually, yes, Kate, I know what you mean. Last time I did this, I only picked 10 players. So if you want me to go through the team that I would pick,
feel free. Fire away.
I would have. I don't know if that's what you were asking me. Casper in goal, obviously.
Hope you're well, John.
Thomas, left back. Amati, centre back. And unfortunately, no, I'm not. I'm not going to put Vestergaard in there. I'm going to put Chowdhury in there. And this is what gets me with Rodgers is when we beat Liverpool 1-0 just before Christmas, we'd lost in the penalties in the cup final, in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup when they came back. And in that game, all right, Salah missed a penalty, but we won 1-0. Chowdhury was in the back 4. He's a defensive midfielder. And Rodgers was full of praise for him. Oh, he's great in that position. We didn't see him until last week. He came on for like 15 minutes against Randers. I mean, how do you praise a player and then we don't see him for 5 weeks or something? It's absolutely stupid. So I'd have Chowdhury back in there, and I'd probably have Albrighton on as a right back. I'd have Ndidi sat. I'd have Ndidi sat as just in front of the back 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players.
I was just about to say, Chris, are you counting?
I couldn't believe it. And the thing was, right, when I was doing this, I was on the same show as Brad, and he'd done exactly the same thing. And he heard me only read 10 out, and he checked it. Thought, oh shit, I've only got 10, and added another player in. I'd have Lookman and Barnes on the wing.
Mm-hmm.
Maddison just off the top 2 of Kelechi and Daka to start. I better check that I've not put like 12 players on here. We might remind you, having said that, we might stand a chance of winning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. I'm all right. All right. Yeah, Andrew. I mean, just to say, if I can just jump in and just say, Andrew is saying about Vestergaard, and I can say everybody will know my thoughts on Vestergaard. I've been very, very critical of him, but he came into a back 3, 4, 5 that changed every week depending on how many injuries. Because, like I say, we've had 9 injuries, injured defenders in one form or another this season. He then got injured himself. We were conceding goals because we were changing literally changing the back defense line every week because we had to. And no, I'm not from Wales. Otherwise, I'd have had 7 toes anyway, Mike. That's what you get in Wales, isn't it?
You only count to 4 on a pair of trotters, can't you?
Yeah, I'd be covered in wool, wouldn't I? So no, I mean, so I'd like to see Vestergaard when he's in a settled back 4, and he came in not expecting to play as Craig says this a lot, not expecting to play as much football as he has done. That said, Fofana came in and he was thrown straight into the team the season before. You sink or you swim. Fofana swam beautifully, and he was going to go into the development squad, and he became a first team regular. Vestergaard hasn't had that luxury. Like I say, it's let's see him in a settled defensive role, or what I think his main job is, and that's a sub in a back defensive line that's not changing all the time, and maybe he's coming on at the end just to shore it up.
No, totally agree. Max says, how many points off safety are you, Dan? I think even if we got a point on Tuesday, it'd take us out of the drop zone due to our goal difference.
I will have a look.
I'm sure a point tomorrow will take us out of the drop zone.
You will, yeah, because you're only on -8, but Everton have played the same amount of games, so you'll have played one more game than Everton, depending when Everton are playing, of course.
To be fair, we've still to play Everton in one of
we've
our
got to play them as well. Yeah,
one of our games that were called off. So Reece says, Harry walks into a bar, asks for a drink. The bartender goes, what do you want? Harry says, surprise me. The bartender goes, we could always conjure up a shake for you, but it'll cost you 10 muggles.
Okay, Reece. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Cheers for tuning in, Reece.
Your input was most welcome. For fuck's sake.
Of course. 2-2. I mean, it was 2-2 earlier on in the season, so it was not a bad shout. Proud Terriers is in. I hope you are well. Huddersfield fans. I'm hoping Huddersfield get promoted. They're on an unbelievable run at the moment. I think they're unbeaten in 2022 in the Championship as well at the moment. So keep doing what you're doing. Definitely got to feel more optimistic about staying up now, obviously. Be good to get, play you guys next season. If you do come up, fingers crossed you do, and hopefully we can stave off that relegation drop. How can you not get that, bloody Nuggets? I don't know, Reece. I don't know. By the the input of the crowd, a lot of jokes have been coming through. I don't really, yeah. Tumbleweed, Chris, have you got a tumbleweed noise?
Hang on a second. Let me just check.
That's good enough.
That'll do.
Scary enough.
I'm the youngest of three. My parents are both older than me.
Mark says, go on, I'll go 1-0 the Clarets. Proud Terriers, yep, we are absolutely flying.
17 you, Mike, demodding you.
17 unbeaten now and unbeaten in 2022. Yeah, I thought so. Absolutely fantastic what you're doing. Is it Carlos Colberan or something, your manager? Fingers crossed, he's doing wonders there. So, yeah, definitely. Hope you get
when Huddersfield came up last time, they stayed up a season, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they did, yeah.
Yeah. And, that's like Sheffield United came up, stayed up a season. Leeds came up, stayed up a season. Norwich and Watford, you're taking everybody's oxygen. Just go, and let the likes of Huddersfield and Blackburn, and I'd love to see Queen's Park Rangers or Luton in the division.
Yeah,
and Blackburn, because it'd be fun to see them when you play them.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with what Mark says. They were great under David Wagner as well. He were a good manager for Huddersfield. Carlos Corberan is a legend. Yeah, he's doing wonders for you. So,
oh dear, just looking at the Championship table, haven't Nottingham Forest fallen from grace? Man, you said that they're only 3 points.
Well, Chris, what do you expect? They're probably living off that result against you, selling it on DVD, as I said.
Don't. Season highlight. Anyway, I believe you're going to have a sort of an hour-long season highlight DVD through. What are you going to do with the other 55 minutes?
Hey, that's Brentford. They only turn up for 5 minutes.
Story of my sex life, I'll tell you.
I don't think Leicester have won a match in 2022.
We haven't won a Premier League match, but obviously we've won in Europe.
Well, I mean, cheers for putting that one in. Just to see Chris's look on his face. However, Suppose he got used to it when he was rhyming them all off on his channel earlier anyway. Craig wasn't best pleased with that, was he?
No. I mean, I love the fact that the BBC, when they've got facts about Burnley and they're all sort of upbeat, and they've got facts about Leicester. And having said that, sums our season up. It is depressing, but in a way, you've got to say it's so depressing because we've had such two good seasons. If we hadn't had that, if it had normal sorts of seasons, mid-table-ish, like near when we're finishing 10th, 11th, yeah, this wouldn't be any different. But because we'd had those two good seasons, you remember good seasons, don't you, Dan?
I do. I mean, it's been a while now, but not keep momentum going, mate. Keep momentum going, and hopefully Huddersfield do, as I say, get promoted and even go far in the
cup. Up to third. Well done, Huddersfield.
Yeah, keep it up. Keep those dirty six-fingered inbreds down the M65 from us. Keep them well away from that.
What, Padiham? You forget I know.
I suppose you can go up motorway to get to it, but
it's just the next junction off. You forget that I know these things.
We like to take Paddy and bypass down Barding Lane and all that. Go that route.
It's like Old Syke, isn't it? I mean, Jesus.
It is.
We live in Old Syke.
To be fair, Chris, the team you mentioned there, it was interesting. There'd be a couple of changes in the Burnley side. I think, obviously, as you stated on your channel, Eric Peters is crocked, so he won't be playing in tomorrow's fixture. Charlie Taylor will be back in at left back. So you're going to expect Nick Pope in the sticks with Connor Roberts, James Tarkowski, and Ben Mee in there, as I say, with Charlie Taylor. Does Cornet start in this game, however, because he was rested against Palace. He was on the bench.
Right,
but he didn't make it on,
which made me think, because obviously I did the totally and utterly amazing watch along with you for that game, that if Cornet had been fit, Cornet had been fit enough. I mean, you needed somebody like that to come on and give you a spark, and he wasn't brought on at any point, which makes me think he was a bit like, say, having Jamie Vardy on the bench. It's that name that it gives the opposition a bit, oh shit, they've got him to bring on. But you didn't, which was strange.
It is. Mark says, "Come on, Blackburn, please get promoted." Your preview for that season, Dan, will be funny.
I want to come in. I want, when you interview the Blackburn guy, I want a referee.
Oh, it'll be interesting. I mean, as a guy doing match previews, I will try and stay calm. I will be flicking the V's and the odd.
Sorry, just to sidetrack for a minute, but Fulham are top, but they're going to come straight back down again. I'd like to see Bournemouth and possibly Huddersfield go up, but then either QPR. I want to see QPR and Luton. I wouldn't mind either of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Luton coming. I think I prefer Luton just because QPR have had their chances of coming up, and they've sort of just. They're another team that came up and tried to throw money at it, didn't they? And
they were owned, weren't they, by really rich owners at one point?
Yeah, with Tony Fernandez or something like that, weren't it?
Yeah, and it's the guy who was something to do with Formula One, wasn't he? Yeah.
Fulham were the same though, with their Michael Jackson statue outside. The best signing they made. That
was that Fulham.
Fulham unveiled a Michael Jackson statue outside.
The house, yeah.
Oh, they're owned by Fiat, to build from. They do. They still only have 3 stands. I don't know how long it's bloody taking that stand to get built. But I mean, Everton will have had 2 seasons in their new stadium before Fulham finish that bloody one stand. Going on to the midfield, I think Cornet probably may start. However,
would you start him?
Yes. Yeah, I'd start him. I'd start him on the left, McNeil on the right. I'd keep Cork and Brownhill in there. I'd keep Cork and Brownhill in there. Mark says, the stand is built or all but built. Make your mind up.
Bob the Builder, can he fix it? Bob the Builder, no, he can't.
I'd keep Cork and Brownhill in there. I just think Westwood and Brownhill are quite similar. Cork sort of shows up that midfield a little bit. And going forward, you're going to have Weghorst and probably J. Rodriguez. So the stand is built but not open. Fair enough. Score predictions, Chris. How do you see this one going? As you say, Tuesday night under the lights at Turf Moor. As Craig alluded to, we are the Stoke now. The new, I say the new Stoke. All our players are old Stoke players, so we're the old Stoke in a sense.
Stoke, that's the bird that brings the babies in, isn't it? Do you mean, does one mean Stoke? Is that what one is trying to say?
Stoke on Trent.
But Stork, putting all my logic of these two shows together, I'm actually going to go 2-1 Burnley.
Oh.
No, I'm not. That's just because whenever I pick Burnley, you lose. We're going to concede a goal. You'll get a corner. We'll concede a goal. If he plays my team, we could keep a clean sheet. I don't know.
And a new manager bounce, Chris, as well. A new manager bounce.
New manager bounce?
Yeah, if you know, as I said at the beginning, Rodgers has gone. You've come in. That's your team. Yes, new manager bounce for you in as well.
If I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be tight. I have known a few women like that. I'm going to go 2-1 to Leicester because I'll never go against my team. So it will be a difficult game. You will give us a difficult game, but really, we need to win. We need to win.
Yeah, I think for, as I say, this is the sort of game that if you lose
this game, a draw, I wouldn't complain at a draw away from home at Burnley on a Tuesday.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, I've got to go for a Burnley win, of course I have. I am going to wrap this up real quick because my phone, this is the only problem with doing it on my phone. My phone is about to die. However, thank you everyone for watching. Chris, give us a quick plug for your channel. Thanks again for coming on. I'm
on Turf Moor House TV more often than not. Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Facebook's Leicester Till I Die. Twitter is Leicester TID. And Instagram is Leicester Till I Die 1. And can I just say, big up to Dan, give him a lot of support and subscribe as well. And after Tuesday, I really hope you stay up, guys. And I think Burnley will now, to be honest with you. But good luck for the rest of the season. But hope you get stuff tomorrow.
Of course. I won't be playing any outro. We will just be cutting this here because I'm literally on the bare bones. Thank you for everyone tuning in. It's been absolutely quality. Stick with us. I will be over on Chris's channel. We'll be on Chris's channel tomorrow as well. Doing a watch along at 7:15. So do check us out on there. Chris, thanks again for coming in. Speak to you real soon. Everyone in the chat, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.